All right, X-Wing miniature enthusiasts, Fritz here, and I want to share with you what I believe are the core strategies of this amazing miniature game. The strategies that, before we get into which faction, pilots, list building, upgrades, all very important factors of the game, this is kind of the meta programming, right? This is the machine language, the machine code that is going to magnify the ability of your ships, of your pilots, of your upgrades. Now, at a very, very core level, well, actually, we need to back up for 1 second. In the archive up on my blog for the podcasts, I talk about the hardware and software analogy in X-Wing, and I feel like it's important to spend just 30 seconds really quick reviewing this framework. I go into more detail, of course, on my blog, but this will lay that foundation because I'm going to use a couple of concepts that draw from it. And this is my terminology. You'll fill in your own. Hardware are things that work as long as the ship is alive. Pilot skill, upgrades, dice output, hull, abilities, the movement templates, how far you can move, what kind of moves you can do. As long as your ship is flying, it's there. It's consistent. You can count on it. Software, it's actually you. It's me. The pilot skill. Can you judge distance? Can you make an accurate assessment? Are you moving correctly? Most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, either because your opponent outplayed you, you misjudged, you made a mistake. How many times did you mean to... So many times I'm flying my TIE Swarm, and I mean to move to the left, and I program all the dials to the left, but one of them I made a mistake and it moves to the right. That's an example of software pilot skill, pilot error. So we want to have this dual analogy in here. The hardware of the game, dice mechanics. Automatically, at a very fundamental level, depending on your build, depending on how you're going to do it, you want to have the ability to re-roll dice and change dice. So I want to have the ability, if I miss, to get a re-roll on there. Generating more dice by getting additional attacks through upgrades or range, that's important too. But regardless of the size of my dice pool, I want to have some way to manipulate it, some way to change it. Turn those eyeballs into hits, turn those hits into crits, re-roll all blank dice, get the maximum amount. That's just a given. The next layer in understanding dice fundamentals is being able to control the dice output. So imagine, for this example, playing the Imperial Navy, someone has to restore law and order in the galaxy against the unlawful rebellion here, right? So you have your two X-Wings, and I have whatever ships I have on my side. It's not important exactly what. Imagine one X-Wing is down to one hull. Shields are down. It's pretty beat up. Maybe it's got a crit. R2's blown up. It's got one hull left. Your other X-Wing, full health, full shields, full hull, full everything on there. They're both in range. If I have a ship that can generate, say, 4 dice, 5 dice to hit at you, to shoot at you. I shoot 5 dice. Obviously, I'm going to go at the X-Wing that is damaged immediately. You want to finish off a ship, move to the next ship. Finish off a ship, move to the next ship. And, of course, target priority based on the mission and based on what you have in the list is going to determine what I fly towards and try to blow up. But I'm going to take those 5 dice. I'm going to roll them. I'm going to score some hits. I'm going to score some misses. I'm going to have some way to manipulate and change the dice. Let's say I'm hot. Fritz is hot. I roll 5 hits on you. That means one of those hits destroys your hull, destroys the ship. What happens to the other 4 hits? Where do they go? That is a wasted dice stream, right? This is hardware. That is a wasted dice stream. Those 4 hits are gone. I've lost out on applying them to a secondary target. So I want to actually control my dice stream. It would be better in this example to say you have your X-Wing with 1 hull. You have your X-Wing full up, hull and shields. Let's say I have 3 or 4 TIE fighters in range. This is why the power of the TIE Swarm has been consistent over the years, because before you get into upgrades and pilots and things like that, you can control the dice flow because they have a decent dice output, right? Short range 3. And on top of that, well, they're fast, so you're going to get short range after 1 turn of movement. On top of that, they're cheap enough that you can get multiple ships to control that flow. So my first TIE fighter will shoot. It causes that 1 damage. It's out. let's say I cause 2 more damage, I'm only losing 2 dice from that. The next TIE fighter can throw 3 dice on your X-Wing, 3 dice on your X-Wing for the TIE fighter after that. Let's say the first TIE fighter, instead of having 1 hull, is a little more robust. It's got maybe 2 hull up on there. I've stripped the shields. If I shoot that first TIE fighter and it only strips 1 hull, so you have 1 left, okay, I move on to the next TIE fighter. That shoots out 2 damage or 3 damage. I'm not losing as many dice. So we want to be able to, through building our squadrons, building our fleets, control the dice stream on there. That's not to say taking some ship, a large ship or a big ship that can output a ton of dice. That's good. Dice are dice. But too good means I've invested too many points into it and I have a singular dice stream that I can only point at 1 target. I will eliminate it possibly in 1 shot. Or 2 shots based on probability, because your opponent is, of course, going to be evading, going to be doing other things defensively. Eventually, at some point, I'm going to miss dice. And over a number of turns, especially since X-Wing doesn't have a set number of turns, you play till one of us is gone, that's a tremendous amount of dice. If you don't try this experiment next game, take a bunch of counters, right? You play X-Wing long enough, you've got like boxes and boxes of target locks and evades and focus and all this type of stuff. Every time you shoot and you destroy a ship and there's additional dice that would have gone against that ship, but since it's destroyed, they go nowhere, just put like 2 tokens over on the side. Do that for the course of a game, standard game. I bet you're going to have 10 or 15 shots that were not applied, that were lost. So in your list building, before we get into pilot skill and ships and upgrades and cards and movement, look to manipulate the dice, understand hardware and software, and look to take ownership of your dice stream.